Atlanta's night sky pulsed with restless heat, the kind that fogs up glass and coaxes secrets out of shadows. Somewhere off Old National Highway, streetlights buzzed like gossiping bees while neon signs blinked in impatient Morse code. Danger, drama, danger, drama. Inside a gated subdivision trimmed with manicured hedges and imported palms, Yandy Smith Harris sat rigid on her sectional sofa, debating whether to press play again. 30 seconds earlier, she'd opened a trailer link a fan had tagged her in, and the 30 seconds after felt like free fall. Like riding the drop on a theme park tower with no harness. Erica Mina's voice crackled through her phone. Dipped in vinegar, sweet until it stung. Everybody keeps acting like Mendeecees didn't call me at 2 in the morning. Receipts don't lie, baby. The camera cut to Erica's smirk. That trademark Mona Scott certified half-moon grin that meant somebody's life was about to get steam-pressed on cable television. Yandy rewound, listened again, searched for any split-second flicker that might reveal a producer's prompt or editing trick. But the words were too sharp, too deliberate. As if Erica had carved them from last season's unresolved resentments. Yandy's pulse hammered. So loud, she almost missed the telltale jingle of keys at the front door. Mendeecees Harris the man. The headline. The walking contradiction stepped inside, humming the hook from a 90s R&B classic. Memoir galley copies tucked under his arm. He found her frozen, phone glowing like a flare in the dark. You see it yet? He asked. The question already weighted with regret. Why is she saying you called her? The tremor in Yandy's voice betrayed months of therapy-tested composure. Mendeecees dropped his keys. Made a beeline for the kitchen water filter. Like hydration could cleanse suspicion. She's thirsty for airtime. Leave it alone. Thirsty doesn't invent call logs. Yandy shot back. Were you up at 2 a.m.? Making peace or making promises? His jaw flexed, the same tick cameras always zoomed in on when truth cornered him. One call. Last year, you were in Jersey, handling family stuff. It was innocent. Innocent calls don't detonate on national television a year later, she whispered. Silence ballooned until it pressed against the chandelier bulbs. Then she shoved feet into sneakers and fled for air thick with honeysuckle and exhaust. Leaving Mendeecees alone with tap water and unspoken apologies. 20 minutes and 14 voicemails. From producers later, Yandy sat opposite Kendra in a graffiti-speckled coffee shop that smelled like diesel and cinnamon. She replayed the clip. The barista's machine hissed like background commentary. Kendra winced. Girl, that's nuclear. I lived through nuclear, Yandy murmured. This feels like fallout. Kendra twirled her spoon. You sure confronting. Erica won't backfire. She's reality TV, Teflon mess slides right off and sticks to whoever reacts. I can't heal what's whispered, Yandy said. I need it on record. Back at the house, Mendeecees waited by the foyer like a defendant on sentencing day. Let me explain. I'm listening, she said, voice silk over steel. One call, Yandy. She called crying after filming reunion pickups. I called back. I told her time heals everything. That was it. Why hide it? Because cameras turn kind gestures into clickbait. She rubbed her temples. Cameras turn secrets into storylines. Transparency is the only armor for a heartbeat. They stood, war-weary generals plotting terms of surrender. Finally, Yandy said, we settled this together in front of her, on camera. No room for edits. Mendeecees agreed, though the flicker behind his eyes looked like a man signing a peace treaty he doubted would hold. 3 days later, that peace treaty walked into a midtown soundstage disguised as a mediation lounge. Overstuffed chairs, essential oil, diffusers, craft service, kale, smoothies. Nobody drank. Erica arrived draped in dove gray silk, eyebrows arched like question marks about to turn into daggers. She offered a brittle smile that melted the moment Yandy asked, why now? Erica folded her arms, bracelets clinking like chains. Producers, wanted spice? I sprinkled truth. Half-truths. Mendeecees cut in. Erica's gaze flicked to him, then the producer lurking near the boom mic. They said, push the angle. I pushed. Ratings beat remorse until cameras cut. So you fabricated, Yandy pressed. Exaggerated, Erica corrected, voice wobbling. We did talk. I was lonely. He listened, nothing more. Heat flushed Yandy's cheeks, a cocktail of embarrassment and relief. Mendeecees reached for her hand. I should have told you. Tears threatened, but Yandy blinked them into submission. We reclaim our story, or we become someone else's cliffhanger. Outside, paparazzi bulbs strobed like lightning over a silent war zone. Bloggers tweeted faster than fact-checkers breathed. Hashtag Harris Truth trended, followed by hashtag Mena Receipts. By sundown, edits of their confrontation looped on TikTok with trap beat remixes. That night, in their living room, no glam squad, no key lights, Yandy and Mendeecees filmed a handheld statement. She spoke first, voice raw as scraped knees. Yes, there was a call. No, there was no affair. Yes, withholding that call hurt me. Mendeecees apologized on record, eyes shiny, ego deflated. They posted uncut footage across every platform, pinned comments, muted haters. Within hours, likes and vitriol stacked higher than Spellman's library tower. Rashida rang at midnight. Sis, transparency looks good on you. But get your armor. Jessica's wellness retreat next week is shaping up like Hunger Games with incense. Yandy laughed, a sound equal parts dread and defiance. Let them meditate on the truth. The retreat unfurled in pastel yoga pants and passive-aggressive affirmations. Jessica welcomed castmates to a manicured estate ringed by koi ponds and crystal charging stations. Cameras rolled as Bambi adjusted a silk headwrap, Spice massaged her temples, and Carly ducked behind sunglasses wide enough to block out karma. Amid lavender steam diffusers, tension smelled like smoke. Yandy floated in wearing gauzy white, Serenity Couture. Mendeecees remained an arm's length away, silent sentinel. Erica approached with palms pressed together. Namaste with a side of nerve. Can we talk alone? Yandy measured her breath. No spots left alone. Truth lives in daylight. Producers herded them toward a sunken garden wired for surround sound confession. Erica's apology flowed. Producers, coercion, loneliness, regret. She looked smaller than the villain the internet painted. Yandy listened, shoulders loosening, yet among blooming camellias, she sensed a subplot germinating. Too many cameras. Too much invested in the next twist. By sunset meditation, Jessica coaxed everyone into a circle on woven mats. Inhale forgiveness, exhale hurt. Easy for those who didn't trade their hurt for sponsor checks. Yandy inhaled anyway, tasted peppermint and skepticism. Exhaled a vow. My piece will never be your plot device again. The voicemail leaked on a suffocating Thursday just as Atlanta's sky burned molten orange. It started on a gossip blog, notorious for typos, but Shade Room snagged it in minutes, watermarked it, and shot it into the social media jet stream. Yandy was ladling broccoli cheddar into her youngest's bowl when her phone buzzed like a bee in a bottle. She tapped play, and Erica's late-night whisper oozed through the speaker. It's 1 a.m., I shouldn't be calling. But you know, what we said at the reunion still sticks with me. Are you awake? Then Mendeecees' unmistakable baritone. Yeah, talk to me. Don't cry, got you. Click. Nothing scandalous, but just suggestive enough to scorch reputations. The spoon clattered. Soup splashed. Mendeecees killed the stove flame, eyes already calculating crisis math. 2-year-old message, he muttered. Forgot it existed. Forgetting isn't deleting, Yandy answered. 12 missed calls from publicists proved her point. Sponsors panicked. Producers scheduled an emergency sit-down. Their inboxes were now flooded with interview requests and contract inquiries, some from tabloid shows eager to exploit the mess. They herded the kids to cartoons, ducked into the pantry, and strategized among cereal boxes. Mendeecees still had the full voicemail in cloud storage. 5 minutes where he urged Erica to see a therapist and respect his marriage. Yandy insisted they screen record the entire clip and post it raw. Caption, partial truths make full-time lies. Here's the rest. Lies. Here's the rest. The pendulum swung. Hashtags flipped to hashtag context is king and hashtag manipulated Mena. Erica hit Instagram live in tears, swearing she didn't leak the snippet. Comment sections turned into emoji Gettysburg, snakes versus prayer hands. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to the leak. Fan theories exploded across Reddit. Meanwhile, brands silently evaluated their partnerships. Jessica's radical honesty dinner was now 2 days away, and producers were salivating. They reset the table so Yandy and Erica would lock eyes across beeswax candles. Contracts were rewritten to include tighter NDAs and new emotional clause waivers. Saturday, dusk wrapped Jessica's estate in indigo. The dining hall looked like a Pinterest fever dream, eucalyptus garlands, crystal goblets, and a mindfulness coach in linen robes. Castmates drifted in, Bambi, Spice, Carly, Safarich, choosing outfits that could stab, as well as sparkle. A brass bowl chimed. The coach instructed, Inhale ego, exhale truth. One by one they confessed. Jessica feared irrelevance. Spice admitted pitching a solo show. Then Erica, voice trembling, faced Yandy truth. I'm ashamed I let production twist my pain into poison. I never meant to wreck your family. Yandy inhaled. Truth, I'm tired of edits defining us. Mendeecees' jaw unclenched brief peace until Safari slammed his water glass. Truth. A crew member offered me $5,000 to leak that voicemail. I said no, but someone else said yes. All eyes snapped to Carly. She scoffed. OnlyFans money is better, boo. Spice mimed puppet strings. Dance. Little marionettes. Dance. The mindfulness coach rang the bowl again. Les zen, more alarm clock. Producers rolled on every second, exchanging gleeful glances. Back in a trailer, Yandy's confessional lens caught raw tears. Forgiveness is a practice, not a finale. Mendeecees followed, admitting imperfection but refusing further secrets. Erica stared into camera glass. They wanted a villain. I volunteered. The cost was my integrity. A week of relative calm let Yandy launch her mental health nonprofit and Mendeecees tour community centers. Then TMZ blared. Erica and Safari diss track leaks. Fake forgiveness under fire. Auto-tuned clips spiraled on TikTok. PR advisors begged for a clapback single. Yandy declined. Silence ages better than shade. Behind the scenes, her manager urged her to consider at least a statement. Next, a blogger teased that Mendeecees' college ex, Talia, would spill tea. Yandy preempted producers by meeting Talia first on a rooftop bar. Talia revealed she'd been approached for drama but declined exploitation. They chatted for hours about old memories, growth, and moving on. When filming day arrived, she repeated exactly that. Scene fizzled. Editors panicked, bloggers retaliated, fabricating PayPal hush money receipts. Yandy and Talia hopped on Instagram Live, laughing at the phonies. Fans flooded hearts. Rumor died in daylight. Twitter's trending tab shifted from hashtag TALIAT to hashtag TALIA. Truth. Ratings plateaued. The network thirsted for sparks. Mona Scott rang Yandy. We need one last bang before reunion. Yandy answered, I'm not artillery. Mendeecees simply added, we've said enough. Set designers built a faux marble arena ringed with LED flames. Stylists armed castmates in weaponized couture. Cue cards read, voicemail, diss track, PayPal, cameras rolled, questions fired. Erica admitted the diss track was catharsis. Safari claimed he'd leak nothing for free. Carly's eye roll nearly needed medical insurance. Then producers played unseen footage. Yandy consoling Erica in the retreat garden, wiping her tears, whispering, your healing matters more than hash. The host asked why viewers hadn't seen this. Yandy answered, because grace doesn't trend. Applause erupted unscripted, undeniable. Erica extended a hand. Yandy took it. Cameras zoomed. Social feeds melted. Even Mona sensed a new currency over explosion. The control room paused as crew members nodded in quiet approval. Past midnight, Yandy stepped into humid night air. Blazer-draped shoulders light for the first time in months. She switched her phone to Do Not Disturb, counted streetlights on the ride home, and kissed sleeping children. On the couch, where the saga began, Mendeecees poured chamomile. Storm over? He asked. Storms recycle, she replied, lifting her mug. But we finally built a roof. They clinked ceramic. Unscripted soundtrack for a season finale written in grace instead of gossip. And as they sat in silence, the faint sound of crickets outside offered the only soundtrack they needed. Their story had shifted, not because someone forced it, but because they took the narrative back into their own hands. Tomorrow, headlines would still buzz, but tonight, the chaos was background noise. For once, they had peace and, for now, it was enough. Reunion buzz hadn't even cooled when the next twist began to boil. Just 3 days after filming wrapped, blogs exploded with a fresh scandal. Screenshots from a private group chat between junior producers and editors were leaked anonymously. The texts weren't vague, they were surgical. One read, we need to bait Yandy. Erica's voicemail is our opening scene. Drop it before Thursday. Get the internet cooking. Another, push Mendeecees' reaction. That's the hook. Yandy sat at her desk, a candle flickering beside her, half reading emails, when the first screenshot pinged on her timeline. She clicked, read, then clicked again. Her hands went cold. Her face flushed, not from anger, but from something deeper, confirmation. All the doubts she'd tucked into drawers over the years, All the things she'd excused as just editing now stood bare. Mendeecees came in with groceries and found her staring at the screen. "You okay?" She turned the laptop. They didn't just catch a moment, they built it. He leaned over, reading the messages. He shook his head. "You always gave them the benefit of the doubt." "Not anymore," she said. Within the hour, she posted across all platforms. "When your pain becomes a spreadsheet, that's not reality, that's exploitation. If the audience still cares about truth, they deserve to see this." The post exploded. Retweets, shares, verified, accounts chiming in, fans tagging producers and demanding answers. Other cast members broke their silence. 2. Spice posted a blurry photo of her crying behind the scenes. Captioned, "They said, do it again, but this time make it louder." Carly hinted at storylines that never existed. Even Bambi went on live. "They told me to act like I didn't know something. Girl, I knew. I just didn't want to play dumb on TV again." Mona Scott, cornered for the first time in years, called a meeting with Yandy and Mendeecees. No cameras, no reps, no handlers, just 3 people in a private Buckhead production suite. "I built this show from nothing," Mona said, "but I'll admit it somewhere. We started letting the algorithm lead more than the humanity." Yandy looked her in the eye. "You made a culture out of crisis. You didn't document drama, you engineered it." Mona didn't flinch. "And if I hand you the steering wheel now, what will you do?" "Drive carefully," Mendeecees said, "and make sure nobody ends up in the wreckage." They didn't sign papers that day, but a handshake changed the power dynamic. Mona agreed. No more storyline without consent. Editorial review for Yandy. Family boundaries respected. Erica would be contacted next. It wasn't full justice, but it was a start. In the following weeks, episodes aired with subtle edits, less tension, more truth. Fans noticed. Podcasts praised the tonal shift. Comments rolled in. Feels different. In a good way. They're finally showing the human side. Ratings didn't spike, but they didn't fall either. It was the first time the show didn't ride scandal to survive. Yandy focused on building. She hosted workshops on digital storytelling ethics, joined a public policy forum about caste protections in reality media, and turned her nonprofit into a youth mentorship program that partnered with 4 schools. Mendeecees launched a startup offering re-entry training for formerly incarcerated men, digital literacy, trade skills, and therapy. Their life became full in a way TV never showed. There were no camera crews filming bedtime, no scripts around family dinners, just warmth, noise, and sometimes silence. And for once, silence wasn't tension, it was peace. Erica reached out by text weeks later. Just one line. "I see it now. I'm sorry." Yandy didn't answer for a day. Then she wrote, "We all let it happen. What matters is who stops it first." They met in a quiet cafe near Piedmont Park. No cameras. Erica wore no makeup, no armor. She spoke before Yandy could. "I blamed you to stay relevant. But I lost more than followers. I lost myself." Yandy nodded slowly. "We were all pawns, but some of us kept playing even after we knew the game." "I want out of the game," Erica whispered. "Then walk," Yandy said. "And don't look back." They hugged on a TV hug, but a real one. Short, honest, weighty. A month later, VH1 approached with a different kind of pitch. A new series, with full creator rights. A show not about mess, but meaning. Mendeecees laughed when they asked, "What would that even look like?" "A couple reading bedtime stories and planting herbs." Yandy said, "Exactly." They agreed to a limited run. Total control. They could kill the series if it ever crossed a line. The pilot aired 3 months later. No explosions. No tears. Just Yandy walking into a youth center, hugging a girl who asked, "How do you stay kind in a world that claps for cruelty?" And Yandy answered, "Because kindness doesn't trend, but it lasts." Mendeecees taught a tech boot camp, showed boys how to build websites. They filmed backyard game nights, therapy sessions, nonprofit launches. It was slow TV. Critics called it reality with a pulse. And in the finale, Erica returned. Not as a rival, not even as a plot, just as someone finishing a conversation. They sat at a lakeside bench. No mics clipped, just raw audio. "I never knew peace could feel this loud," Erica said. "It always was," Yandy replied. "We were just too surrounded by noise too." Hear it, they smiled. No scripts, no second takes. Just 2 women unlearning everything reality TV taught them to be. When the screen faded to black, it stayed black. No teaser. No next season. Just a single sentence on screen. Sometimes, the real story is what happens when the cameras stop. At home that night, Yandy and Mendeecees curled on the couch. Their youngest asleep on Mendeecees' chest. Yandy scrolled through the feedback. No trolls. No hashtags. Just love. Messages from mothers, students, women who'd been misrepresented, thanking her for holding the line. Mendeecees whispered, "We didn't just survive the storm, we rerouted it." She nodded. "Let the next wave come. This time, we'll surf it." Outside, Atlanta was still loud. But inside that home, there was only softness, truth, and a quiet that didn't ask for ratings to matter.